Dear brothers and sisters, I welcome you all to hear and see this video message. In this video, I am going to explain cow production legislation history on post-independence India. Content for this video I given in the description. You can go through and study. Cow production has a long history in Indian politics dating back to pre-independence time, when it found support from mass organizations such as Arya Samaj and a personage no less than Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. After India attained independence, the members of the Constituent Assembly, a body consisting of indirectly elected representatives set up for the purpose of drafting a constitution for India, debated the question of making a provision for the production and preservation of the cow in the Constitution of India. An amendment for including a provision in the Directive principle of state policy as Article 38A was introduced by Pandit Thakur Das Bhargava. The amendment read, "The states shall endeavour to organize agriculture and animal husbandry on modern and scientific lines, and shall in particular take steps for preserving and improving the breeds of cattle and prohibit the slaughter of cow and other useful cattle, especially milch and draught cattle and their young stock." Another amendment motion was moved by Seth Govind, who sought to extend the scope of the provision for prohibiting slaughter to cover cow and its progeny by adding the following words at the end of Bhargava's amendment. The word cow includes bulls, bullocks, young stock of genus cow. Bhargava's amendment was passed by the Constituent Assembly, but thus was rejected. Although some members were keen on including the provision in the chapter of fundamental rights, but later as compromise and on the basis of assurance given by P.R. Ambedkar, the amendment was moved for inclusion as a directive principle of state policy. The preservation, production and improvement of stock and prevention of animal diseases, veterinary training and practice is entry 15 of the state list of the 7th schedule of the Constitution, meaning that state legislatures have exclusive powers to legislate the prevention of slaughter and preservation of cattle. Law banning cow slaughter is nearly half of the states are roughly 50 years old, enacting during the tenure of the Indian National Congress. The oldest ban on cow slaughter have been in place in Jammu and Kashmir and Manipur, promulgated by their former rulers in 1932 and 1936 prior to Indian independence and the annexation of the states. The Muslim-dominated states of Jammu and Kashmir had the most stringent punishment for cow slaughter. The law was instituted in 1932 under the Ranbir Penal Code. The code introduced during the reign of Dogra ruler Ranbir Singh, which still applies in Jammu and Kashmir. This law makes cow slaughter a cognizable and non-bailable offence, punishable with up to 10 years imprisonment and a penalty of up to 5 times the value of the bovine killed. Cows are estimated to cost lakhs in Jammu and Kashmir. Socialist Jayaprakash Narayanan in 1966 wrote to Prime Minister Indira Gandhi seeking a ban on cow slaughter, declaring, "I cannot understand why in a Hindu majority country like India, where rightly or wrongly there is such strong feeling about cow slaughter, there cannot be a legal ban." Indira Gandhi refused then, resisting a nationwide agitation by the many Hindu organizations. But in 1982, in line with many steps to appease Hindu religious sentiment, She wrote to 14 chief ministers urging that the cow slaughter ban be enforced in letter and spirit and not allowed to be circumvented deviously. Prime Minister Morarji Desai had earlier admitted a move to bring a national cow slaughter ban into legislative competence of the central government. During 1950 to 1968, post-independence and after India became a republic in 1950, cow production enthusiasts were reined in and ban on cow slaughter was only included as directive principle of state policy and not as fundamental right as its supporters had demanded. Nevertheless, Congress government enacted laws prohibiting cow slaughter in 15 states and union territories until just before the 1969 Congress party split. The offence was made punishable with a prison term ranging from 6 months to 2 years. Madhya Pradesh, with a prison term of 3 years and a fine of Rs 5,000, had the strictest law of its time after Jammu and Kashmir. In 77% or 24 states and union territories that prohibit cow slaughter, the offence is cognizable, and in more than half of these it is non-bailable. Under India's Criminal Procedure Code, cognizable offences are serious crimes such as murder, rape, dowry deaths and kidnapping. In such cases, the police can make an arrest without a warrant and start investigation without a magistrate permission. During 1977 to 1979, after the Congress split in 1969, over 80% of the states that enacted new laws prohibiting cow slaughter did so under a Janata Party or a Bharatiya Janata Party government. The enactment of cow production law saws a resurgence when the Janata Party, with its Hindu nationalist elements from the Bharatiya Jana Sangh, which later formed the BJP, came to power in 1977 and served a 2-year tenure at the country's helm. Laws came into force into the union territories of Goa and Daman and Diu and the state of Himachal Pradesh under the Janata Party government and Andhra Pradesh under Congress rule. Maharashtra also under a Congress government strengthened its cow production law, replacing the Bombay Animal Preservation Act 1954 in force till then. From 1994 to present, coinciding with a spike in communal conflict across the country in the early 90s, the promulgation of cow production laws restarted in 94 with the introduction of the Delhi Agricultural Cattle Preservation Act. The law made cow slaughter punishable with a 5-year prison term and a fine of Rs 10,000, the strictest of its time after Jammu and Kashmir. Since then, cow production laws have been enacted and amended in 11 states and union territories, prescribing stricter punishment in 10 of these, barring Sikkim, where restriction and punishment are among the mildest. 9 of these states were ruled by the BJP at the time of enactment or amendment. In 12 states, cow slaughter can lead to a prison term ranging from 2 to 14 years. In terms of severity of punishment, Haryana comes in third. Enacted in 2015, the Haryana Gauvana Sanrakshan or Gausham Vardhan Act deems cow slaughter a cognizable, non-bailable offence, inviting a maximum punishment of 10 years, rigorous imprisonment and a maximum fine of Rs 1 lakh. In Jharkhand and Uttarakhand too, cow slaughter is punishable with a maximum sentence of 10 years, rigorous imprisonment, but a lower fine of Rs 10,000. In contrast, restriction on cow slaughter in Kerala and Sikkim are the mildest. In Kerala, cow slaughter is prohibited in rural areas under the Kerala Panchayat slaughterhouses and meat stall rules 1964 and in urban areas as per the 1976 government order, but is allowed if the bovine is over 10 years of age. Offenders are fined rupees 1000. Similarly, the 2008 Sikkim Police Act prohibits cow slaughter only in public spaces and provides for a monetary penalty only for unsanitary slaughter. The 4 states of Arunachal Pradesh, Meghalaya, Mizoram and Nagaland and the Union Territory of Lakshadweep have no laws related to cow slaughter according to this document from the Central Department of Animal Husbandry, Dairying and Fisheries. The document notes that DAHT receives numerous representations for banning cow slaughters across the country and declaring the cow as India's national animal. UP Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath had, as an MP, introduced a private member's bill in Parliament seeking a nationwide ban on cow slaughter, and his first major drive in office has been in closing numerous abattoirs, casually imperiling the livelihoods of tens of thousands. BJP MP Subramania Swamy has introduced a bill seeking death penalty for those convicted for cow slaughter. There is ample proof in old religious texts that beef eating was not uncommon in ancient India. However, that does not necessarily mean that current generation of Hindus should not worship the cow. There is also the undeniable fact that cow slaughter was one of the flashpoints in medieval India under Muslim rule. The real issue of the right now is that the state has no right to send someone to jail for killing an animal. Punishment for consumption of beef is an attack on the basic constitutional right of every citizen to live the life we want to. The central government and some of the BJP states have been overtly keen to ban beef, even though it is a dietary cultural practice in many communities and also a revenue earner. If one sees the competitive federalism that has begun over banning cow slaughter, it may seem that there are no other issues that need the attention of these governments. We would actually want such competition to happen among states on eradicating poverty or reducing maternal mortality.